Up next on The Big Room.
Now, you're a whistling man.
I am a whistling man.
Where does
my cheeks are hurting because of the amount of times I've been whistling the intro?
Where does it rank for you?
As far as like whistle songs or what? I mean, this is
I know
one or two.
I say
Andy
that.
Griffith in this song.
Yep, because we shared that. Welcome back to the big room. We watched Robin Hood.
We did.
1973's Disney animated starring a fox.
Yeah.
And definitely not Baloo from the Jungle Book, even though it is the exact same bear and the exact same voice actor.
It's totally different bear.
Totally different bear.
Completely different.
But first, before we talk about that, we have some news items. I have one, only one, because I had a busy day today. It's not news.
Lame.
But there was a piece of news that hit my metaphorical news desk today, and it references last week. So last week, Danielle brought up N film called Fly Me to the Moon, and I made a joke about how I thought it was going to be a Frank Sinatra biopic that would probably piss me off. Now, in the news announced today is a Frank Sinatra biopic that is going to piss me off because it is directed by Martin Scorsese.
No.
Of course it is.
And the current pick for Sinatra is guess who?
Leonardo
DiCaprio.
Hey, dude.
Pull Frank Sinatra swap.
Just because you're in every Scorsese movie doesn't mean you can play Frank Sinatra.
He's got the blue eyes, but that's a weird casting choice.
It's the worst.
He kind of seems too old to play Frank Sinatra.
And playing his wife, second wife, Ava Gardner, will be Jennifer Lawrence.
What?
And I'm also not hot on Jennifer Lawrence.
Hunger Games?
Yeah.
I like her.
But she
seems cool.
Side by side, her and Ava Gardner, that makes more sense. DiCaprio I look more like young Frank Sinatra than DiCaprio does, and I look like shit.
Yeah.
That's a weird. Why?
It's awful. And it's all of the response I've seen has been like, DiCaprio is Scorsese's new crutch. It's like his new De Niro.
Yeah, they gotta be together.
He can't not do something without DiCaprio in it. But like
He wasn't in The Irishman, though.
Yeah, but The Irishman was that whole movie wasn't old mop guys. So you can't shove like.
I mean,
I don't know. He would. He's Scorsese.
Yeah.
Doesn't know when to finish.
Would have asked him.
Yeah, how do you know when you're finished, Scorsese? Ruining Frank Sinatra. Now, what I did read maybe is that Nancy Sinatra has final say in like his estate gets a thumbs up, thumbs down on like casting.
Yeah, is this official or is it just rumor?
No, this is like it is a project that Scorsese wants to do. And speaking of Scorsese projects, you had a news item regarding his new Jesus movie.
Oh, just very briefly. Andrew Garfield.
What is that voice?
Very briefly,
Oh, very briefly, dear.
That's my newscaster voice.
That's your transatlantic riff.
Yes,
Southern
yes.
charm.
I thought
Frankly,
it went
my dear.
with this movie. I don't know what it is now. I wasn't trying, now I'm trying, and I don't know what it was.
It's
gone.
The cast, though, they were
Yes.
they had cast people for the
It's back.
Jesus Christ.
Goes.
I'm going to try to talk like a normal person.
Yeah, Jesus is the subject of the movie.
Is the subject. Jesus is the answer.
I'm cutting all of this out. I'll take it. So the cast rumor, and it didn't say which one was playing Jesus, but it's Miles Teller and Andrew Garfield.
Wait, who is Miles Teller?
Top Gun
The
Maverick.
drummer guy and
Drummer from Whiplash.
Yeah.
He's a good actor.
But no, Andrew Garfield loves being involved in religious projects.
Does he?
He
I
loves
could see
playing
Garfield as
religious
Jesus.
He
characters.
was in one with
He's been in
what's the
several.
Defoe?
guy's name? No, he was in one with Adam Driver about being like
The
missionaries or
Silence
something.
or whatever.
Was that it? I didn't see it. I just
Yeah,
saw
he
was
of it.
he was also a religious character in Hacksaw Ridge. That's why he was pacifist. So he refused to have a gun, but he was a medic on the front lines. in
He was
Hacksaw Ridge.
also, he did a Mormon show called Under the Banner of Heaven, which was fantastic. And he was kind of like he was started out as a Mormon and then became an ex-Mormon.
Mormon shows really had a
as the shows
moment.
have. They did. That came out about the same time as that Keep Sweet, Pray and Obey documentary came out, which was insane.
Yeah.
Insane.
We really were peeling back on scratching Mormonism, making shows about it like 2-3 years ago.
Yeah.
Now we're not. Do you have anything else?
Now we're
news-wise?
Well,
Oh, you had a Bachelor update.
yes, Bachelor update. As some of us on this podcast are known members of Bachelor Nation, I am sad.
Bachelor Nation.
That's the family. Bachelor
Batch
Nation,
Nation.
baby.
Batch Nation.
I'm sad to announce.
Doesn't that just make you want to end your own life, Batch Nation? Isn't that the worst thing you've ever heard?
Yep.
Batch Nation. You.
Welcome to the douche nation.
Douche Nation.
Crazy Ira and the douche.
All right, go on. What happened
Well,
to the
I've
Golden
tried
Bachelor?
to lead in 3 times and been interrupted. But 4th time's the charm. They are divorcing after 3 months of marriage.
seen
Oh no.
I thought
Why? Did they
would
give a
make it.
reason?
The reason they're saying, which take it with a grain of salt, because who knows what's really
With
true.
a log of salt.
Yeah. Is its location. So neither of them wants to move. So Gary has his dream house he built with his dead wife in Indiana or Illinois or somewhere.
His dead wife, who was not dead but 3 months before he had another girlfriend, by the way.
So 3 months is his number.
Yeah, he loves it.
So,
That's true.
and then Teresa, his new ex-wife,
yeah.
is from New Jersey and has a great job. And they both have grandkids and families. So it seems like you probably could have figured this out
this didn't come up
beforehand.
during-
Or an entire show.
Yeah.
Well, or during the hometown.
During the hometowns.
Are they allowed to not get married on the show?
They
Or does
don't
that
get-
always have to be the outcome?
No,
because
they don't have to get
What was the one
engaged.
chick that had sex in the lighthouse?
I had Windmill.
Windmill.
Get
sorry,
your lore
Hannah.
right.
Hannah.
Hannah Brown,
I don't
baby.
remember her name
Good job. I'm proud of you.
because she was like, "All these dudes suck. I'm marrying nobody." And
No, she picked a winner, but they broke up because
that's right.
he
I'm an idiot.
He went on the show for his music career. Shout out to Jed. We all hate you, Jed.
also your name's Jed. So
Yeah,
ugh.
she should have known. She had
How
like
long
the
does the
hottest runner
show
up.
run? Like, how long is the season
How many
of the show?
weeks?
I think it's like 6 weeks of filming, and you're
Okay.
you're supposed to get engaged. People have ended it not engaged, but you don't get married on the show. You get married after.
They had a marriage.
The marriage lasted longer than the show.
Yes,
That's cool.
That's
I
mean,
something.
Yeah, that's a goal. That's
the
a
lowest,
milestone.
That's the lowest bar to
They
clear
were
ever.
together.
All right, we got to
for,
try longer than the show.
They were together for several months before they got
You would
married.
think you'd figured it out in that time.
They like made
who
him
knows?
wait until the next Bachelorette was picked, and then it's like, all right, now you can announce.
Now
the
you can,
divorce.
you know, they probably did.
I bet you. I
They
bet you any
probably
money.
did.
Yep.
Man, but
Probably in some
anyways,
clause.
That's about
R.I.P..
enough. That's about enough news, you think, huh?
yeah, I think.
All right,
that's
let's talk about this
enough
movie.
news.
So, this movie is kind of me and Danielle's fault. So, full disclosure, Nick wanted to watch Princess Bride, and all 4 of us had seen that.
Yeah.
And we try not to do that on this show. We try to have like at least one person who hasn't seen something, and you are the only one who hadn't seen Robin Hood, right, Carl? You had seen it?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So, as a
I
kid,
didn't realize I was the only one.
as a kid, I assume, yeah.
Yeah, I grew up on this movie. Yeah.
Same. So, this is going to be interesting for
You asked a 31-year-old man
to watch a.
who notoriously
With no
did
kids.
not watch any kind of cartoons growing up.
That's not true.
Well,
You watched, like,
I watched
VeggieTales.
cartoons, just not the right ones.
Yeah.
So, this was a hard sell, but I didn't hate it as much as I thought I would.
So I was concerned because we watched it last night, and we turned it on, and I love the title sequence. I love the OO-DE-LALLY song. I love the whistling bit during the credits. That's all magical. I think the setup is great.
Yeah.
Really, the first act I love. The whole archery contest, that's kind of a little Knight's Tale-y. A little bit. Or Knight's Tale is a
Yeah.
little bit of this, I guess. But
Yeah.
there's ties there. And then like the meat of the plot is kind of like, it's fine. And then
Yeah.
the ending's really good. Like the ending's solid. King Richard comes back. It's dope.
I like the prison break. That was fun.
Prison Break is cool. But it's slow. It's kind of
Yeah.
what Danielle and I were
I didn't-
thinking.
For a short movie too.
It's an hour 40 something
Yeah.
minutes. It's a slow burn. And it kind of lets you sit with some scenes, and it's not very action packed. And you know when they dress up as gypsies and steal
yeah.
Prince John.
Prince John.
Prince
Prince
John's
John.
like
PJ.
he kisses the jewels out of the rings, and like that's a
Just
long
sucks them right out.
yeah,
Yeah.
and
And
smiles
then smiles at the snake.
at
Yeah.
Sir Hiss with the mouthful. Like that's all cute, but I don't know. I feel like
It felt so much like longer and higher stakes when I was a child, which I guess that scans
and
because I was.
I think part of my puzzle face with the pacing is why did I like it as a kid when my attention span was like a gnat? But I was locked in. So I want to know, at least for the three of us, and then we'll get to you, your childhood ties to this movie. Like for me, this is one of the movies that my mom would put on when I was like so sick that I was sleeping in the living room, you know? Like sleeping on the couch.
Just lay
My
on the
parents
couch.
had, get this, denim couches
Cool.
What?
when I was this age, and they were cool because they get nice and
I want a
cool.
denim couch.
They would get nice and cool. And when you would like flip, you'd get a really cold spot, and it was the best. And then
Man,
like,
with a fever, that'd be perfect.
oh, it was awesome. And they were terrible. Like they were like acid wash jean, like pale blue. They're just the worst. I'm surprised they didn't have zippers and stuff like Levi pants.
That would have
Yeah,
made
just
sense.
like fashion holes.
like
going in them.
right over the legs, they're cuffed.
Wow.
They have like
make
the
it-
Japanese salvage tag in
Yeah,
there.
yeah, and like
Oh,
big
man.
pockets, like the backseat of a car on the back of the couch. Like, oh, there's the Reader's Digest. No, none of that's true. But you know, I'd
That'd be
be sick
amazing.
and you know, drinking the grape Sudafed for medicine and
grape?
watching and
Orange
Gatorade and watching Robin Hood. And that's kind of my memories. And I always wished I could whistle. I didn't know how to whistle until I was probably 23.
Wow.
Wow,
No,
that's late.
21, 22. I was at Auto Customs and had been for some time. And I started just like blowing air through my round.
Just one
lips
day it
'cause-
happened. You're, oh my God.
Oh my God.
Well, Carl's a
did it.
little whistle guy. And
Sure.
he would make me jealous at work. So I was like, this guy can whistle so good.
I think I've been whistling since I've like been 4. Like I've been whistling for a long time, which I'm sure my parents were like really testing their patience with.
There were two
Kid won't
talents.
stop whistling.
There were two talents as a kid I never got, and one I still don't have. Whistle, I know how to whistle now. I still can't blow bubbles with gum.
Wow.
I don't know how.
That's crazy.
You just
I
You
can't
just
blow a
do
bubble.
it.
You just do
You
it.
just do it. It's
You
so
just do
irritating.
it. I know. I
I
tried
don't know,
not
you
to
just-
say it.
You can't whistle.
Get
That's a whistle.
Wrecked.
Yeah.
So, Carl, what's your childhood experience with Robin Hood? Do you have any memories tied or settings? Can you paint us a picture?
Sure, I do. I feel like I was probably like so young when I was watching this, but because like my first real movie memory as a kid is Toy Story.
Oh,
and
yeah,
I like
same.
memorized
I was-
that movie, and I had like every toy,
Buzz
and I would like
Lightyear for
reenact
charades,
it.
like,
yeah,
every
I like
time.
literally, yeah. I would put I had like the Buzz Lightyear and the Woody, and I had like this like toy house that like I would put him on the fan and make him swing around like when he was in the
Oh,
scene
yeah.
to the ball. Like I had it all memorized, but I don't have like a strong childhood memory of this movie other than just that I definitely watched it, and I think Fox and the Hound was another big one for me.
You know, I've never
So
seen
I think
that.
I'm blurring those two because they're both Foxes.
Right.
But I don't know. I remember like really liking this movie as a kid, but I don't have any like
No, like,
strong
visceral.
memories. Nothing visceral. Yeah.
Okay.
Like Toy Story was the one that I'm like as a kid. I'm like that's the movie I remember.
Man, if we did Toy Story, like as into Star Wars as I am now, that's how into Toy Story I was. That was the
Dude,
first. I latched on so hard to Toy Story, the first and the second one, and then my other one at that era was also A Bug's Life. I really,
yeah.
but those are Pixar, so I feel like those are kind of a different.
Yeah, that's
gotta
a
put them
different
in a
thing.
You gotta
different
bucket
category.
those differently because like those were the 90s and it was just different. That is what we grew up with. But Robin Hood is what my mom grew up with. And so there's that connection of she liked the Robin Hood movie when she was a kid. I think maybe I'm speaking out of my ass, but you know, we had the VHS and yeah. What about you? You like this movie a lot, yeah?
I do. I love this movie. This movie was special growing up for me because it was one we didn't have at home
Oh,
It
was
was-
at
Interesting.
Mimi's house?
at my grandma's house. So this
Which grandma?
Hat grandma
Oh, okay.
as my BFF, Caitlin Reed. So
She
this
wears
grandma,
a lot of
she
1950s hats and gloves and stuff.
That's
She's
awesome.
at
super
one
groovy.
point had like a closet for just her hats.
I've
That's
been
how
in
many
this closet?
hats she has. No, you haven't.
Oh, you're
That's-
right. I've been in the downside.
You've been in the pared down hat closet.
and I was still like 10-foot ceilings, shelves,
just hats.
just hats, and apparently it was bigger.
It used to be bigger. But no, so this was the movie we would watch at Hat Grandma's house. So it was always like, I don't know, go over, and my grandpa could whistle the song perfectly. He always had a really big mustache.
How do I do? Do I do okay whistling the song?
You do. I think you do a good job whistling.
Does
the
he
song.
have
do pretty
the
good.
breathy whistle though?
Yes.
Like that?
No, he whistled
Oh,
it so
God, I'm
good.
so
do
jealous of that.
I gotta do a full force. I'm not. Yeah, I'm gonna. Next time I see him, I'm gonna be like, John, can you do the? Can you do the?
Do
Can you do the
do
whistle?
it.
the
Ask
whistle?
him. He used to do all the time. I'm surprised he's probably done it around you before because it was one
I
of his
doubt it because I would have been like, ah.
I feel like it was one of his go-to whistles. So I don't know. It was
That
just
song is so catchy.
it's so catchy.
I want to talk more about that in a minute. But you got anything else for your memory?
No, that's kind of it. It was just our
That
special
was,
Grandma's House movie.
Grandma's House movie.
Yeah.
That's sick. Nick,
Yeah.
what you didn't have this.
I didn't have
What
this.
was your what
This-
did you was it Bible Man, was it VeggieTales? Like you were more sheltered than even Danielle and I were.
Yeah.
Like you have
So-
you know nothing of Rocket Power or
No.
SpongeBob.
No. I know Rocket Power.
Okay,
Rocket
you know
Power's good.
I loved Rocket Power.
Wiggity wiggity wiggity. Okay, you failed that test.
Why was Rocket Power allowed?
It's not that this stuff
mom-
wasn't allowed.
His mom was really big into roller skating.
Jeez.
That California lifestyle.
She wasn't gonna raise no Shooby.
I was more on like family like movies, just not animated stuff. Like one of my first movie theater experiences, and I love this movie and
What's a
watched it
family
nonstop,
movie?
is like Master of Disguise.
Never heard of it.
You've never heard
With
of
the
Master?
turtle?
The turtle.
The turtle
Turtle.
Club. Yeah.
You might not turtle enough for the
Okay,
turtle.
Yeah, that guy.
I know that clip. I've
So a lot
I
of
didn't
movies
think
like
that was a
Honey, I
family
Shrunk
movie.
the
I thought that
Kids.
was
Honey, I
more
Shrunk the
adult.
Kids. I love
Flubber.
When Flubber was good.
Oh,
when I was
Flubber.
You were like, you know,
I was-
I've
It's
never,
Flying
I was in
rubber.
like elementary school.
I've never seen Flubber.
Ooh.
I've never.
That was
I don't know how that one
was
holds
the
up.
Disney Channel movie.
It's a
back
pretty
in the
dumb
day.
It's Robin Williams,
movie.
right?
Yeah.
Oh well, come
But
on.
it's
It's
fun.
Robin Williams. Anything he does holds up. Go ahead.
I remember one time we rented in elementary school, probably Three Ninjas, High Noon, and Mega Mountain with
What?
Hulk Hogan.
What?
Incredible movie.
Hulkster.
I cried when we had to take it back to Blockbuster. Like I did not want to let that movie go.
Wait, we gotta watch this movie. We gotta watch this movie.
It was great. It was
Your
like
choice. Yeah,
it
you
was
chose
like
that and
bad
Shutter
guys
Island over
take
that.
over.
All right, you didn't pick a movie you cried having to get back to Blockbuster, and you made me watch Shutter Island. You're a maniac.
It was that
so
movie.
rude.
That movie. There's like bad guys that take over a theme park, and Hulk Hogan comes in and saves the day. It's great. It's incredible.
Hang on there, brother.
We should do
so I
like
watched-
a childhood movie month or something.
Oh, for
That,
sure.
That could be
Yeah.
good.
Could be great.
But I watched a lot of stuff like that, not
Okay.
necessarily animated.
Why not
A lot
animated?
of
I
Nickelodeon
wonder
game
what's-
shows.
What's the
Did your
disconnect?
parents just not want to suffer through an animation or something like that?
Maybe. I was watching this movie and I was like, some of the stuff the snake was doing, I really feel like my mom would be like, that's evil. We can't watch that in this house.
Well, like
just
the
a snake.
the hypnosis.
It's
That's
demonic.
an interesting point with the snake because I did want to talk about like the anthropomorphizing of like animals and like the choices they made for different animals.
Dude,
But we
right
can
in
get
the
to that
beginning
later.
of the movie, when the snake gets, when they're in the carriage and Robin Hood is dressed as the gypsy and he's doing the fortune telling thing. And it's the first time like Sir Hiss gets like bounced off to a side and he like sits in a pot and moves his body to make little elbows to put over the thing. Is that kind of the stuff you're talking about? Because that
Kind of
one I
that,
was
but just
like,
also like the psychology of like a fox is not generally a heroic animal. They're usually like tricksters.
yeah.
So it's kind of
Well, Robin
interesting.
Hood's
to kind
a
of
trickster though. Like he's stealing
Yeah, but
from
he's
the
also
Robin
like a
Hood.
hero, you know. So it's kind of it was an interesting. Like I think in Pinocchio, the fox is like he tricks Pinocchio, so he's like a bad character.
Okay.
So it was interesting for that, but I mean, the wolf is an obvious choice. Lion is king, that makes sense too. But like even the animals for like, it seems like all the royal subjects were like jungle animals, like hippos, rhinos, alligators, and things like that, and then like all the other like people animals or like bunnies and like chickens and
Yeah.
things like that, or like
woodland
smaller
woodland creatures.
Yeah, but I was like,
badgers.
yeah, but like those they don't live in the jungle, so it was kind of weird for them both to be in the same place.
Yeah, there's no rhinoceros.
Well, and at the same time,
in Middle England.
there's all these animals, but they all just act human.
Yeah.
Like
It
the
is-
snake's
yeah.
a little different, but like for the most part, it's like this is
They're
a
wearing
fox.
clothes,
but
they're being
there's
people,
nothing
yeah.
about it that's inherently like.
It is interesting that you bring up a good point of the villains and the people in power are like the animals that we see as mighty. The king is a lion. The guards are elephants and rhinoceroses and
Vultures.
alligators, very
alligators,
predatory.
and everything that we're supposed to. And that's, I feel like that's like, that scans for children. You look at a rabbit and you're like cute, and you look at an alligator and you
There's
go
like
scary.
intrinsic psychology there.
Now,
yeah.
the thing that doesn't scan is how the hell is Miriam, King Richard's daughter.
That's what I don't understand. I was like, how are they cousins?
Well, is
like,
she
what
daughter
happened
or
in this?
cousin? Like,
She is daughter, according
thought-
to the research I have done. Her bio
Yes.
is Maid Marian,
Also-
the daughter of King Richard and love interest of Robin Hood.
So
And she's also she's not listed as a fox. She's listed as a vixen.
Vixens
In
are
the
female
credits.
foxes, though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Never mind. I thought that was like a feminine term, like a feminine goddess term.
No, it's a female foxes or vixens.
Well, my bad.
Well, hey, you learned
I
something.
don't know.
today.
Don't question
Yeah,
it.
there you go.
But who's the mom?
But what are
We'll
they
never
eating?
we never know.
A fox
Maybe
should
the
eat a
mom.
rabbit.
Maybe the mom was a fox, and she
What are
just
they
got
eating?
all
Are
the
they
fox genes.
Wait, what are they eating?
What are they eating? Because
I don't know, but
they
he
were making
burns it.
stew.
Yeah.
You don't ask.
Yeah, what was in that stew? Because it had to be meat, right?
Maybe
That's what a
just
stew is.
potatoes.
Just, yeah.
Maybe just potatoes and carrots.
Yeah, like a
bugs?
like a British farmer's lunch is like well meat. To be
like
fair.
grubs, maybe
Yeah.
bugs,
Maybe.
or maybe they were just cannibalistic.
Yeah.
So that
Maybe.
scene, Carl, where you're in Sherwood Forest, and they're doing the "Down with John" song, right? Everybody's
Great
hanging
song.
out. That for me was the gotta dance of this movie. It's my least
The
favorite. It's my
what?
least favorite part. The gotta dance from Singing in the Rain. The part that Carl hated.
Oh.
That was the
I
gotta
thought you
dance.
said God of
No,
dance.
no.
Like-
The gotta dance like
Gotta dance.
That just
I was still hearing it.
it went a bit. I don't know how to. Got to dance.
Thank you.
That's not how they sing it.
Gotta dance.
That's the part of the movie where I was like, I'm done with this song and this
Enough,
kind of stuff.
yeah.
And
Really?
you caught a recycled
It's
animation.
recycled animation.
There's a lot.
No, that's not a
of
bad
that.
thing.
So I mentioned.
Was it
I
the
mentioned,
outside of the building?
No.
No, the whole dance sequence of Maid Marian and she's dancing with one of the animals is a recycled animation from Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs
Oh, from a different movie.
from a different movie.
Yeah,
And the
this was
Aristocrats.
actually the first movie they did without Walt Disney.
Oh my
Because I did a little
God.
bit.
Really?
Yeah, so this was like, so I can kind of, gloss over some of those choices to kind of recycle
I think it's
animation. 'Cause
cool.
they're like,
And-
let's
Well,
take from
it's-
what worked.
They did it a lot. Like a lot. It happened
Yeah.
a lot in Sleeping Beauty. All those early ones
Yeah.
did that because it was just easier with all the hand drawing. So
Yeah.
that's not a knock at all. But just being a Disney fan, I was like,
It's like the hidden
from that
Mickey
movie.
of the movies.
Yeah.
You can be. And
Yeah.
I mentioned at the top of the show that if I was a Jungle Book fan, she does not like Jungle
No,
Book.
I don't like Jungle Book. Boo.
But the bear in Jungle Book that raises Mowgli, Baloo, is the same exact bear
And actor.
in this movie and
I didn't
voice
realize
actor.
it was the
That's
same
wild.
voice actor.
It's the
That's
same voice
crazy,
actor.
Yeah. That's
And-
pretty shameless.
And
But you put on some clothes and a hat and I didn't even recognize it,
speaking of voice actors, I blew your mind last night, and I'm so sad I
did.
didn't save it
I
for the
know.
show. But it was just like one of those things where it was so cool, I had to get it out. So, hang on. Lady Cluck's voice actress. So the big chicken that plays is playing badminton with
Yeah.
Lady
Maid
Mar-
Marian's
with Maid Marian.
Lady in
great,
Waiting.
yeah.
The voice actress. First of all, I have a fact for you and a fact for her, for Danielle. Okay, so
Two facts.
her final credit, the last thing she was ever in, was
boy.
as a mystery chaperone and theater guide in John Mulaney's special "Kid Gorgeous at Radio City."
Whoa.
I haven't seen the special. From what I understand, she brings him around and like shows him Radio City or whatever. That's the voice actress from the chick.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
I
but
didn't
holy
think
crap.
you would, but yeah, that's her final credit. She's half accredited as a mystery chaperone.
Mystery
That's the last thing she did. However, in 2003, she created the role of Madame Morrible in the original Broadway cast of Wicked.
Which is just crazy. Like I can't hear
And that's when
I can't hear Lady Cluck and then hear Madame Morrible and I don't hear the overlap.
and
I don't
to credit your knowledge,
it doesn't compute.
I said that and you went, "Oh my God, Carol Shelley.
Shelley.
It makes sense now." Like it clicked in your brain. And you were gobsmacked
I
last night. It was really cool. And now
Well-
I've ruined the show because I I blew it. I said it too early.
No. Well, I've seen that name. I've listened to the Wicked soundtrack so many times, and she's listed like on like the track when it comes on. It's like, Defying Gravity, Carol Shelley, and Idina Menzel. So I've seen that name so many times, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, I never knew.
What does Madam? What's her name do?
What's her
Madame
role?
Marvel.
Because I don't really remember.
So
she's evil, yeah.
She's one of the bad guys. So she starts out as a professor at the university that Elphaba goes to in the beginning of the play, and then she transitions to the press secretary for the wizard. So she's really involved in making Elphaba out to be the bad guy to kind of pin the blame for all the bad things happening
She's a
on
piece of shit.
the Wicked Witch. Yeah, she's bad. She's bad news.
That musical, wow.
Oh, we're not gonna.
That musical, to its credit, it had me locked for
It was-
95%
it's
of
so
it.
good.
And then the ending, no. I didn't like it.
Whatever.
Sorry.
They shoehorn a happy ending.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. You know who else? You know who else didn't like it?
Who?
Dan Harmon.
Okay, well, who cares what
and
Dan
he's
Harmon
perfect.
thinks?
And
He's an alcoholic,
No, as Carl knows.
bad person.
As Carl knows, he was also on ecstasy when he watched Wicked and doesn't remember most of it.
Yeah, so we can't
boy.
trust his opinion.
Nah, we can't. He created community.
No.
Dan Harmon likes Superbad.
But
Ooh.
So-
Ooh.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
right.
so point
Yeah.
for Wicked.
Thank you.
Yeah, I have no
Thank
morals,
you.
so I now like Superbad. I'm just kidding. What are
This is a deep movie.
I wanted to say this kind of gave me Smokey and the Bandit vibes a little bit.
What?
Just because it's two buddies kind of hanging out and pulling a heist a little bit.
all right?
And
That's
there's
kind of where
like
you
a
can.
tongue-in-cheek kind of silliness to it.
There are more
If you
stakes.
had to make a connection for some reason, I guess that is a connection.
That is a connection.
I've got to make a connection.
I think the biggest difference would be there's no stakes in Smokey and the Bandit, and there's stakes in this movie.
Cartoon stakes aren't really
There's
stakes.
stakes in smoking.
The people are gonna starve.
They could get arrested.
That's it, though, and they never do. They never even come close.
Yeah.
I feel like that, I don't know, like that tease of like they could get caught is kind of the same tease we get here. It's like they're not going to get in trouble. We know it's Robin Hood. He's going to make it out.
Right.
Like,
Now
so-
they do get you with him jumping off the parapet of the castle into the water.
Not.
Oh, yeah,
they
with-
didn't
with
get
the
me for
reed,
1
or-
second.
And the kids. Well, it's
Didn't
just
buy
because
it.
the kid.
Nick's too
that-
smart for this movie.
The kid that got his hat is like so sad, and John like doesn't think he's gonna make it.
Yeah.
And little kid me was bought in to like, oh
Yeah,
my god,
John
is he
sells
gonna
it.
live?
Yeah, Lil John makes a face there, and I'm like, oh boy.
Well, and the kid sees it and like grabs
Starts
his
crying,
hand
yeah.
and starts crying. Oh man,
he
wow.
can't be gone. Yeah.
yeah.
Wait, what is that? I called it.
One of my favorite lines from the movie is that kid's sister when they shoots the arrow, and then we meet Maid Marian.
Maid Marian.
Maid Marian. Sorry.
It's not Miriam.
They hang on.
What if it hit her?
That'd be hilarious.
End of the movie.
Yeah.
There's no
They're
film.
just on the run for the rest of it.
There's one point where the birthday boys. No, it's the birthday. It's earlier. It's when he gets the bow and arrow. And the sheriff of Nottingham is coming and collecting all the taxes. And he comes to this house, and they had 1 shilling or whatever left for his birthday. And then the sheriff comes and steals it. And Robin Hood comes in dressed as a blind man. And one of my favorite parts of the movie is when the sheriff bounces the coin in his cup and 3 coins come out. That's the
Iconic,
best.
yeah, it's
I
good.
love that part. And then Robin Hood takes off the garb, reveals that he's Robin Hood, gives the kid the hat and the bow and arrow. But the kid's sister says, "Oh, he's so handsome, just like his reward posters." And that popped. That's a good line.
That's so good.
There's a lot of
Also, the movie starts, the first thing Robin Hood and Little John do are dress in drag.
yeah.
I'm now waiting, Republicans, for you to come after
Yeah.
this movie
Well,
that
I
you
mean,
grew up in.
You know what?
Someone-
Maybe
There's a
my
lot
parents were
more-
at least consistent their whole life. Like, didn't like it
Yeah.
then, don't like it now.
What did you have?
There was a
Well-
lot. Oh, yeah, sorry.
Well, we're talking about lines. I mean, some of the other ones, rob the poor to feed the rich.
Yeah, that's
Like,
good. That's
so,
good. They
I mean-
chant that towards the end.
Yeah.
In the third act.
And then death to tyrants. I'm like, so this movie's really kind of coming down hard on, the rich are the bad guys, and,
Yep.
then the good guys
yeah.
are the poor.
Oh,
It's like,
I mentioned that while we were watching it,
Interesting.
because in so many movies, I mean, Star Wars, this, Smokey, the cops are always the
All the
villains.
classics.
They're all
Yeah.
the
They're
bad
always
guys.
the bad guys.
Yet here we are, and our parents are like, why
You
are
can't
you...
stop jerking off the police. It's the worst. I can't believe it too, because like some of our parents like lived through the '60s when we were protesting Vietnam and stuff. Like, I don't know, man. I feel like I feel like to a level there's generational swings with that kind of thing, and we are back on when the boomers were cool and they were like F the establishment, you know, make love not war with John Lennon and you know,
Yeah. So.
Anyway,
Carl, what were you gonna say? I feel like you had something.
I was gonna say this movie was a lot drier than I remembered as a kid. I don't know why I would remember that like style of humor, but like there was a line where he was like, they were talking about we don't steal, we borrow, and he's like, borrow, boy, are we in debt? And I was like, that's not a joke any kid gets. That's all for the adults. And there's a lot more like adult humor than like the one time the little badminton thing fell between the cleavage of the chicken.
Yeah.
she's
I was
shaking
like,
it
that's
out.
pretty adult. Yeah, I was like, there's a lot of like adult situations that I was like, oh,
Well,
wow, I didn't remember any of that.
Sir Hiss gets shoved in the beer keg and comes
I
out,
don't drink.
Yeah.
comes out higher than a Georgia pine. and
Hiccuping.
gets-
Yeah, he's drunk as a monk. Oh,
super
man.
good.
They sure
Oh
do
my God.
abuse that snake though. He
I
gets
know.
tied
He
up
takes
and
quite a beating. Yeah.
Poor Hiss.
And get out of that.
dude, it freaking. Go ahead.
I was gonna say there was one moment that reminded me of it was this movie's "You Desecrate the House of God," but it was when the Badger's like, "Get out of church!"
Yeah.
bumping him with his belly.
His gut just
I was like, "This is very much like you desecrate the house of God." I was like, "That's so." It's like one for one. It's so
I love the
perfect.
sheriff's voice too. Is he so voice cracked? right?
The
Oh
sheriff.
my God.
The sheriff. I watched this movie twice. First time I couldn't pin who I thought the sheriff sounded like. And then I realized, and I'll show you a picture. It's just Senator John Kennedy. That is
What?
the sheriff.
I know who Nick's talking about
Just
too.
Google it. Watch him talk about Facebook or something.
He sounds exactly like
It's
that.
the
and
sheriff.
he's also one of the least intelligent elected officials in the country.
Okay.
Gotta pay your tax, man.
Oh
Yeah.
no.
You gotta
right.
Come on, sheriff.
pay your taxes.
His voice is so twangy.
all-
Now, if
also
I
like-
Google,
Yeah,
it's
he's,
so
he's
funny.
a piece of shit. It's weird to me that they chose that voice for the sheriff because like everybody else is kind of British-ish, you know, in the
That was
troop.
an interesting thing. Yeah,
So-
they had because we talked a movie ago about like it being kind of a Hollywood trope of like evil people kind of having a vaguely European accent, but here it's kind of a mixed bag.
Well,
Like,
Robin Hood's
they-
like Scottish or something, and
Robin Hood, yeah, he's got kind of it seemed like a second generation English that lived in American. It was
Yeah.
like kind of had the trails of it, but it was kind of fading out too. And then yeah, like so the
Alan Adale is a legendary country
Yeah.
singer.
Yeah.
I read that they were originally going to do and like spend a lot of time on this being a Western.
Oh.
And they had a couple actors from when they were making it a Western that they liked enough to just
Probably the
keep.
sheriff
Yeah.
and Little John.
So that might
maybe, and-
explain.
Would it still be Robin Hood, just but Western, or just a totally different
I
story?
guess. I don't know.
Interesting.
There's
Yeah, I
a lot of
wonder.
overlap, hangings, outlaws, stealing.
I wonder if they were writing a Western and then stepped back one day and went, we just rewrote Robin Hood. Like we accidentally invented Robin Hood, so let's just make a Robin Hood movie. I don't know. I wonder where that, because you know, like there was one time I was trying to write a song, and I don't remember what this was. It wasn't the one you're thinking of. I was
Oh.
trying to write something else, and I sat it down and was like, I just rewrote some other song. Like I just actually wrote
On accident.
something that exists.
Yeah.
And I wonder if they did that with this. That'd be really cool.
This is really my only knowledge of Robin Hood, and I love it so much
You
that
know
I
what?
don't care to watch anything
It's
else.
mine too. I remember.
I would absolutely watch a live action right now.
I
though.
remember my parents.
And there are plenty.
My parents
Yeah.
watched a Robin Hood.
A lot of them suck.
In the late '90s or early 2000s, and all I remember is there was some scene in it where there was like a witch lady.
Oh no.
Or some kind of sorceress, and she needed she plucked out a person's eyeball and used it in this elixir or whatever.
Sounds like my
do
terrible
some-
dream.
And I just don't. I was like, ugh.
Ooh.
And for some reason, it was. It also might have been a Three Musketeers movie or something. Like it was something like
Who's
set
to
like
say?
that, and that stuck with me. And I've never been able to Google that scene and come up with anything because it's like, what do you Google? Lady plucks eyeballs. Robin Hood? Question mark. Like,
I mean, yeah.
so.
Just read it at the end.
I feel like Kevin Costner's got to be in a Robin Hood, right? Like
Oh,
that-
he
that-
is Robin Hood. I think.
is he?
Men in
Yeah.
Tights, right?
I don't think he's Men
Or
in
no?
Tights. I
Because
think
that's
he's
the
one
that's
is
the
that one?
comedy one.
Men in Tights is Princess Bride, right? The guy from Princess Bride.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not sure.
I think Kevin Costner is serious Robin Hood.
I'm sure it's ass.
I have no idea. There's also the only other Robin Hood I've seen is the one that shows up in Shrek and gets beat up by Fiona.
I love their musical number to introduce him.
So good. Oh, merry man. It's fantastic.
He's bad. He's mad. He's really, really
He's
mad.
bad.
Dude, Shrek slaps.
I steal from the rich and
Shrek
give
is
to the needy.
fantastic.
But I'm not greedy.
Nick doesn't like Shrek.
I'm lost over here.
Nick doesn't.
It's not that I don't like it. I've never seen it.
Oh, David doesn't like Shrek.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
that makes me want to
Not
love
silly
it.
enough for him.
Well, Disney didn't make it, so.
Ooh.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I don't
David, I love you. Don't be mad at me. Low hanging fruit, I had to pick it off.
It is interesting. We don't get any merry men in this version of Robin Hood. It's just him and Little John.
Not explicitly true.
We don't get what?
I mean, he's got like
merry men.
helpers, but there's not like his band
So-
in the woods.
Alan Adale is one of the Merry Men.
Oh, okay.
And I think that he is really the one guy. I think Friar Tuck also is a Merry Man.
Oh.
So we have
Alright.
those two, but also like at that point you are adding too many characters for a children's movie, I think. So I
Gotcha.
think watering it down. But yeah, if you look up Alan Adale, he's a minstrel, but he is part of the Merry Men. But in this movie, he takes on a little bit of a different role of
It's like a narrator.
narrator-ish, like a sing-songy.
I did like
narrator.
the couple times where it like cut back to him walking through the town and like kind of broke the story up a little bit.
Does a little bit of disposition.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of disposition in the beginning. I mean, through the OO-DE-LALLY song, which is, if I had to pick, my favorite song of the movie.
No.
Oh, man.
I knew you wouldn't
Every
say that.
town has its ups and downs.
Yeah,
That's
that
a
one's
good
That's
great.
a good. Did
That's
I
a
not
good one.
say?
You said it.
Did I
That's-
not
that's-
say last night?
That's a sleeper track. That's not a hit, but that's a sleeper track on the
Yeah,
album.
yeah.
That's like,
based on
there's not a single. Yeah.
based on your favorite song from the Muppets, which was
The saddest, slowest
and
song.
also batshit insane with a movie that has Rainbow Connection in it. Can you remember a single
I
word
was-
from that song?
I was going to say, the only song I actually remember from the Muppets is Rainbow Connection.
Because it's the best song in the movie. But I knew you would pick that one, and that's a great song. I'm
like-
with
It's
you.
an earworm.
I
No,
actually.
what he said was, this is going to be Nick's favorite song because he likes to be sad.
That's true. That's
exactly
fair.
what I said.
That's fair.
And I knew you wouldn't pick OO-DE-LALLY.
Too happy.
But I really like OO-DE-LALLY because it reminds me of the Matt Thiessen and the Hurricane song,
That
The
it
Forest.
does.
And you actually posted Forest, and it's a little. You can tell that he was, and maybe I'm wrong. Matt Thiessen, tell
us
us in
know.
the comments, please. I'd cry. That he was riffing on OO-DE-LALLY when he wrote that song, and it
And
has,
then he
it
just
has a
said-
similar spirit. Carl, you should look the song up if you haven't listened to it. It's very good.
I listened
Yeah.
to it. Yeah, yeah.
Did you like it?
I was trying to think of a snarky reply, but I couldn't think of anything. I was like, "Oh, where's the one for Beauty and the Beast?" Or like, I was like, I couldn't think of anything. But yeah,
But no, OO-DE-LALLY for me is, I mean, just the intro, like Robin Hood, Little John walking through the forest. It's a good
Yeah.
song.
yeah.
Iconic.
What the other had to say, yeah, so good. Oh man,
OO-DE-LALLY, OO-DE-LALLY, golly, what a day. Banger, dude. The
Yeah.
music. What,
Music
now,
was great.
yeah. I don't
Carl.
like musicals, but I liked all the music in this. So because
Carl,
it was
That's saying
like, it was
something.
sparing. It was sparingly. It wasn't like here we're all about to sing. It was like the rooster who's basically a bard and doing
Yeah.
like narrative stuff. That worked for me. I liked that, but like I don't like it when it's like all of a sudden everyone's singing and it's this big choreographed thing.
Like
This
Les
felt
Mis.
a little bit more tasteful.
We
yeah.
know.
now,
Get it.
now, you're a whistling man.
I am a whistling man.
Where does
My
the,
cheeks are hurting because of the amount of times I've been whistling the intro.
Where does it rank for you?
As far as like whistle songs
Whistle
or
songs.
what? I mean, this
'Cause
is
I
I
know-
one or two.
I say
Andy
that-
Griffith in this song.
Yep, because we
yeah.
shared that Andy Griffith moment from across a call
Oh
center.
my god, that was.
Once.
I think about that. That's
Did
my
you-
Roman Empire.
Did you start it or did I start it?
I don't know how it happened, and I don't think we should figure it out. I think it just happened.
At some point,
and then,
Carl and
yeah.
I and a couple other people
Joe was definitely whistling.
Started whistling the Andy Griffith Show theme song at work. In the call center floor, I think you were.
It was the
there?
new building.
I was there, but I don't remember this.
And at one point, I did the Andy Griffith Show, starring Andy Griffith, also starring Don Knotts in the middle of it.
perfect.
And yeah, it was the new building. It was 38, and we like kind of sat in silence for a second after it ended, and then applauded ourselves and we're like, that was good. We did a good job.
That was when I was like mid RC helicopter craze.
Yeah, this is Box Carl.
What a time to be alive.
Was around this era.
Homeless Carl.
Homeless Carl. Well, we were in 38, so we had all these
man.
fluorescent lights, and it was a big, big building. So it had like 25-foot ceilings in one section. But in our section, we were in a little like outcropping, and it had 9-foot ceilings or 10-foot ceilings.
So it was really bright.
So really bright. And Carl found boxes and just erected a roof over his church table desk.
Yeah.
And Stuart
I had all these monitors, and I put it on top of the monitors and just let it
like dip on
it
your
was, like,
head
perfect.
kind of. And
and kind of touched it, grazed my head. That's probably why I'm bald now. But it was
Stuart came in and was just
perfect.
like, nice.
Stuart came in to take a picture and
one
said,
point-
I'm sending this to corporate. We have to
at
get
one-
like
I think it
furniture.
was during the Revco review. They were all like hunkered down and like looking at my screens and like under my boxes,
Yeah.
and I was like, "This is power."
And you're probably the reason why that whole floor area we had
Got real desks.
bespoke desks after that.
Spoke.
And then you just moved in with us. And my favorite memory from Carl being there is he had that Pantone swatch.
yeah.
Oh,
Those are
God.
worth like what, like $600 or something crazy.
They're not cheap.
And it's like a swatch thing.
I
So
know,
it's
I've
got
seen
the
one.
center screw, right? And he had taken it out because he was comparing things. Dropped all of them
no. I've heard this
on the
story.
floor, and
I remember it just breaking while I was holding it. I don't think I did anything, but maybe I did. But
I don't know. All I know
got
is
in such a rage. Yeah.
you were like, you made some noise and just scooted yourself away from your desk, stood up and walked out. And me and Dan and some other people were like, "Oh, let's try to get it back in order so he doesn't kill himself."
I have a very short fuse, and if I get angry, if I don't leave, I will break something. And I've done it before. I've done it to TVs and controllers, and I knew I was like, I have to get up and leave. They can't see me like this. I have to bottle this rage, save it for later.
So for whistling, I think we're the same. It's Andy Griffith in this. I mean,
This is iconic. This is like I don't know. They're both like neck and neck for me.
it's I
There's
can't,
not a whole lot of
I
famous
refuse to
whistle
pick.
songs though.
Yeah, it's an interesting one.
They're both very nostalgic for me.
I want to go listen to that artist's like actual country music because his voice
Yeah, I
is
looked
just
it up.
magic to me. What's his name
Yeah.
again? It's
I forget.
I want to say Marty Robbins, but that's not true. He wrote all the gunfighter ballads that are in the Fallout games. Where the
Great
hell is
show.
he? Roger Miller. Sorry.
Roger Miller.
Roger Miller. I need to look up some Roger Miller. So, all right, it's time for Fox Points
Oh, Fox.
because Maid Marian is a wow, but it's not about men. It's about a man. Go.
All right. Well, Robin Hood.
Stupidest intro ever.
He can do it all. Can't he? Can he not?
Off to a great
He's
start.
good with kids. Talented archer.
Yeah.
I love you more than life itself. He's a romantic. Oh my gosh.
That's
He's
a good line.
cool under pressure. He can swoop in and save you from the villains. He dances.
He sings.
Yeah.
All of these things would lead us to a 10.
Ooh.
But
Oh,
he's a fox. He is not a man. So we lose the hot point and give it a 9.
We lose a hot point for it being an anime.
Shame. Yeah.
Well, damn.
Leaves us at a 9.
Get shit on, dude.
oh.
Way to be a fox
Should-
in 1973.
should have been a person.
Hey, should have been a dude, guy.
Can't give a fox a full 10.
Hey, a 9
but
still deserves an air horn. That's a hot fox.
it's a hot fox.
There you go.
Get a
There you
picture of him
go.
on the wall.
Yeah,
I
no.
don't know. Maybe just
Maybe.
a nice little one.
We'll just put his head over the
Sundance
queen
Kid.
because she's
She is dead.
dead.
She
Rest
gone.
in
Put
peace, Liz.
Just put a Robin Hood hat on Robin Redford.
That'd be good. Little paper boat hat on her little queen head. Be the best crown she ever had. Well, let's.
There's no way that only Robin Hood has that hat.
Also, he has a couple of
He
them.
has
'cause
so
He
many.
gave it to the kid and then just has more.
I guess
He
so.
lost
But yeah,
one
they're
in
like
the
only
river.
Robin Hood. Yeah. A lot of them have arrow holes in them.
Yeah.
Not
He's got a whole
great.
drawer probably.
Probably.
Bought him on Amazon.
He's got just one of the trees has like a drawer in it.
One of the trees, yeah.
You know, I learned today that birds don't live in nests. They just put their eggs in them and they just hang out in trees wherever they want.
What?
Yeah, nests aren't bird houses. That's just where the eggs go.
They
Isn't that crazy?
sit
What-
on the eggs.
What
there,
are bird
though.
houses then?
Trees, man. Oh, bird
I
houses?
meant, like,
the same thing. They just lay their eggs there. They're just like nests with a roof.
so they're just roamers.
They're
I
roamers.
guess if
They're
I
like
could fly-
lizards.
They're kinda like Laurel.
They're like lizards. Lizards are homeless.
They are homeless. Have
Birds
you ever
are-
seen a lizard house? No.
Well, bird houses are propaganda. That's just where they lay their eggs.
Propaganda.
Birds just hang out. It's
I
kind
mean,
of
I've heard birds aren't even real, so who knows?
They're government.
They don't need nests because they're fake.
I've definitely seen some birds that I was like, that can't be a real thing.
like
I think-
vultures.
Come on.
Some birds are
I
real, but then other birds.
Which
Some of them
birds?
gotta
They're
be
mixing
You
it
have to
in.
quantify
manufactured.
that. You
I
have to
can't
quantify that.
quantify.
I saw a pigeon today with like the pinkest feet, and I was like, get out. It's like, no. Like, come on.
He's
Nobody's
assimilating.
got feet that pink. Yeah, that's crazy. He's assimilating.
Nobody's got feet that big.
Bird was like, I need
Also-
white guy feet.
They definitely made that kid a turtle to make that joke about him cutting off his head, and that's it.
100%. But I like the actual fact.
That was it.
The turtle had one of my favorite lines in the movie.
was
I
it?
almost forgot it. It was during the archery contest. It cuts to the young turtle and he just goes, "Yay, Dad!" And it cracked me up for some reason. It was like a half a second scene. It was just the young turtle one. Yay, Dad!
Yay, Dad.
You're done.
Was
his
his
dad in
little
the
turtle
tournament? I don't even remember.
glasses?
I don't remember that.
Yeah, he
either,
was in
Carl.
the archery.
Oh, well, his dad sucks at archery.
Oh, well, I mean, next to Robin Hood, who can compete?
Well,
Yeah.
I can compete. I don't know what that means. Let's do hit or miss. So, I'll tell you what. My arm, I got tattooed Monday, and my arm itches so bad, and I want to go wash
Struggling.
it. I want to go wash it and put lotion on it before I tear out my own eyes. So.
Yeah.
This movie for me, I mean, this is one of my childhood favorites. This is an obvious, overt hit for me. Now, nostalgia is doing some heavy lifting because I don't know, it's got pacing issues. It doesn't have the pizzazz of a movie made 30 years later, but it's
No Beauty and the Beast or Aladdin.
It's a It is definitely not, or Hercules for
Or
God's sake.
Her-
Hercules.
love
That movie's
Hercules.
got style, man. That's
Yes,
a
it
good
does.
movie. But it's great. It's a good comfort movie for me. I remember putting it on a couple years ago in the apartment just because you were sick, and I was like, "She'll like this movie," and it's great.
And he was right.
So it's a hit for me. What about you?
It's a hit for me also. But same, all of the above, everything you just said. The nostalgia plays a huge factor. But it's also just, it's charming. I always like little periody like pieces
The
and British
songs.
things and folksy music. I mean, all the pieces are wonderful. You put them together and it's
You do wonder,
classic.
does Sherwood Forest have a force field? Why can't they just go in there and get them?
I thought about that.
there's a
don't
lot
I
of
don't
plot
think you're
holes.
supposed to think
I don't
about
think we're
that.
supposed to. Carl,
Yeah.
3 for 3?
So I just wish this movie had been a little sillier, and I didn't love all the tropes. I'm kidding. I like this.
He's giving me taking the piss out of me for not liking Dungeons and Dragons, and I maintain
No.
that movie's dumb.
No, this movie is an obvious hit, yo.
That's good.
It's classic, yeah.
Now we have
The voice of reason.
the voice of reason.
Oh boy.
As, as a 31-year-old man who has watched this for the first time with no nostalgia tied, it's a mid.
Ooh, mid.
It's mid. It's fun. I don't regret watching
You know,
it.
kind of valid.
I'm not mad about it.
My
Fair.
gut wants to be mad because I love this movie, but also valid.
Yeah.
If you had said miss, I probably would have thrown hands. But
No.
mid is like, I think that's fair.
It is what it is, you know?
Now, we talked about a couple other movies from our childhood. Had you seen like A Bug's Life? Have you
No,
seen,
no
you haven't
Bug's
seen-
Life.
Bug's Life. We watched Bug's
We
Life
could watch
recently.
movies forever that Nick should
Yeah,
have
no.
seen and hasn't
Yeah.
seen.
We watched A Bug's
So
Life
many.
recently, and that movie hits a little different once you realize that Hopper is voiced by Kevin Spacey.
Oh.
Yeah, and also it kind of falls
He
apart.
does play a villain, so
Yeah.
that works, right?
Yeah, that movie does kind
wasn't
of
hard.
fall apart in the third act too. It gets a little rushed.
That's the one that's like Seven Samurai, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of want to watch that.
I mean, you should. I don't know if we need to do it for the show. You should watch it. There's a really good BYOB joke in there that just soared straight over my head.
Bring your own bug.
No, they just say it flippantly, like BYOB to like a meeting, and she's like BYOB, and that's the end of the joke. It's just for adults to be like,
I like it.
It's for adults to also be like BYOB. Princess Anna, Princess Anna. That's a good movie, too.
Let's ride. Oh, God, that's a great
The
movie.
grasshoppers, like, the bit is that they're a biker gang. So
Yeah.
they say, let's ride, and their wings make the engine noise.
That's good.
It's good. It's good.
Blast through the ceiling.
And they got, like, a little biker club where they eat, like, peanuts they've got in a glass jar. It's really good. It's a good movie. All right. So, hey, 3 hits and a mid. That's what I expected, actually. So,
Yep.
no surprises this episode. I expected Robin Hood to have a high hot points score. I expected nostalgia to carry heavy, and I expected you to think it was mid. So, hey,
We did it.
predictions.
There you go.
Now, that doesn't conclude Sword Month, right? We
No.
got one more.
Also, not a lot of
Technically,
swords in this
more.
movie.
It's
the
not
month
in the
of
budget.
April.
Yeah, we shouldn't talk about that, Carl.
There's one more week in April than we thought there was going to be.
Oh, you're right. So we had to add a film.
We had to add a movie film.
And we picked a movie because
Once again.
we were sitting around. Carl actually proposed this film when he pitched Sword Month, and we all thought Sword Month. And then we ran
would
with it
never.
because it's hilarious. But he pitched this, and we went, "We've all seen that," and Nick hadn't.
Oh, I'm just now remembering what we
And
decided.
it's one of Danielle's favorite movies, I think, of all time.
It's
Has
definitely
it fallen down your list?
No, I have such a hard time with the question, like, what's my favorite movie of all time? Because there's just so many different types of movies and so many movies. But, like, this was one that when I first saw it, I mean, I loved it. And it's definitely stuck with me, like, for a while. So this is probably my, like, growing up, like, one of my favorite movies, yeah.
And that movie is. Would you like to say?
Oh, I'm curious how she's going to say it.
Yeah, the last. The
Oh.
word, yeah. The way that you should say it in movie context is.
Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, that's right.
Here's what I wanted to do just now was go, this is the tale of Captain Jack Sparrow. But then
good-
you guys got serious, so I did not do that.
No, it's Pirates of the Caribbean. I know it's Caribbean, but that's the
Pirates-
gringo way. Like it's
I say Caribbean.
Pirates of the Caribbean. So, but you wouldn't say Caribbean jerk chicken.
Caribbean.
Caribbean.
Oh,
Isn't that interesting?
Caribbean feels wrong outside of that context. Though.
English is all about
it's all about
feel.
context.
You know the other one.
Yes,
You
you're
know,
right.
You know the other one. It's like it's a pecan, but they're pecan sandies. Isn't that
Right.
weird?
No, it's
Pecan
always
pie,
pecan.
pecan sandies.
Pecan are what you pee in outside of construction zones. Pecans.
No,
Porta
those
potties.
are porta potties. Yeah,
Those are
not
pecans.
I've
No,
never
You eat a
heard.
pecan.
Is that what you call porta potties for real?
No.
No.
Oh, okay.
No, it's
like I've never heard that before.
no, but Carl's right. It's pecan pie, but they're pecan sandies. It's very interesting.
I always say pecan.
Pecan
but yeah.
pie.
Pecan sandy.
Which
but
one's
everything
the
else is
southern way? It's
pecan.
pecan's the southern way, yeah.
I think pecan is
Is
southern.
pecan the southern way?
Pecan feels more southern.
Pecan
I
feels
don't
more
know.
southern proper.
Pecan feel
Yeah.
more like a good time.
Yep.
Anyway, this just became the worst episode of anything.
I don't know how to
No.
respond to that.
So let's wrap this up because wow. So we're gonna watch.
Ew.
Nick's gonna watch
Pirates.
Pirates, which is
I'm excited.
I watched
I'm real excited.
We
It's a-
watched it during COVID,
Love this
Yes.
movie.
and I was like, that was better than I remember. So it's really good. I don't know. I'm not as big a fan of like literally any of the other ones. I know the first 3 are pretty good.
First 3 are pretty good.
and
How
then
many
they-
are there?
But the first
Five?
5.
It's a lot.
And they're about to reboot it. Maybe
No, leave it alone, please.
I feel like it was a reboot
Have they
with
cast
a
it yet?
female
don't
lead,
think so.
and I don't remember who the female was, but I remember
Amber
thinking,
Heard.
nope. But I remember thinking, all right, but I don't remember.
Was it
might have-
Anya Taylor-Joy? Or am
No,
I thinking of
feel
the Mad
I
Max?
feel like it was ScarJo.
Whoa.
Really?
But I could
That's
be
interesting.
way off base. But for
It
some
just
reason,
won't
her
be the
name.
same.
Well, if you make it a pirate in the Caribbean, then it's whatever. Because like, here's the one thing that you
I
should
don't
know going
Jack
in.
Sparrow is like the backbone.
Yeah.
Have you done the ride?
Yeah.
So the ride existed before the movie.
The movie is
Really?
the movie is based on the ride.
What?
So that
They
all
really
of the,
expanded
all
on
of
it.
the movie elements were added after the movie came out, but the movie's based on the ride.
So I will say it is based on the ride in Disneyland.
Not
It
wrong.
makes a lot
You've
more
been there. Have you
I've
ridden
been
it?
there. I have ridden the ride. It makes a lot more sense like having ridden that version of the ride
Okay.
because there are scenes in their ride that ours in Florida does not have,
That's it's so weird.
which is really annoying because it's way better. Why would you deprive us?
I don't like the drop. Scary.
Oh, it's fun. I love the drop.
I like it.
The other one has more drops.
No, thank you. All right, well, hey, Phoebe's scratching at microphones, so that means it's time to stop. Because
Oh,
Stop talking.
this is the rare day I work from the office, so they've been in cages all day, and they are
sad
pissed off
today.
about it. So,
Got some energy.
well, hey, we're gonna be pirates. Yo ho ho and a bottle of rum. Maybe we'll get some rum and make a rum drink. That'd be fun.
Ooh.
So figure that out. I've never actually bought real
The
rum
most excited we've all been.
today. Ooh, oh, rum.
Rum.
Booze sick, dude. All right, y'all. Well, we're gonna watch Pirates. Thanks for listening. Follow us on everything, and we'll catch you in the next one.